Okay, y'all, I need everybody to sit down for this one because what I'm about to tell you is going to shake the entire internet to its core. We thought we knew the full story behind 50 Cent and Papoose's beef. We thought it was just two rappers trading disses back and forth, another hip-hop feud that would burn bright and fizzle out like they always do. But what just dropped changes everything. A man named Maserati Bud has stepped forward with claims so explosive, so detailed, so specific, that Claressa Shields is now threatening lawsuits left and right just to keep the lid on this. And 50 Cent? He says he is sitting on Ring camera footage that could end multiple careers overnight. This is not a drill. This is not some baseless rumor floating around a comment section. This is allegedly the biggest celebrity expose of the entire year, and every single person involved is either panicking, backpedaling, or going completely radio silent. So buckle up, because we are about to unpack every single layer of this mess, and I promise you, by the time this video is over, you will see this entire situation in a completely different light. Now, before we dive into the deep end, let me catch y'all up on how we even arrived at this moment. So 50 Cent and Papoose have been going at it since the top of the year. It started relatively small, at least by hip-hop beef standards. AI memes, little social media jabs here and there, nothing that seemed like it would escalate beyond normal internet trolling. Then Papoose decided to turn up the heat. He dropped a diss track called Agent Provocateur, and he was out here feeling himself. He was loud, he was bold, he was everywhere online, doing interviews, posting clips, talking about how he buried 50 Cent, how 50 could not respond. And Claressa Shields, being the ride-or-die girlfriend she presents herself to be, hopped online too. She was gloating about how her man won, how 50 Cent was scared. And y'all, I need you to really understand something about 50 Cent before we go any further. This is a man who has built an entire empire on collecting receipts and systematically destroying his enemies in the most public, most humiliating way imaginable. He does not forget. He does not forgive. And he absolutely does not let somebody celebrate a victory that he has not authorized. You do not poke Curtis Jackson and walk away clean. That man keeps a mental filing cabinet of dirt on everybody in this industry, and he waits. He waits patiently until you think you have won, until you are popping champagne, until you are on your victory lap, and then he drops the hammer so hard the whole internet feels it. And that is exactly what 50 Cent did. He posted a face swap picture of Claressa Shields and Papoose, captioned it very, very handsome, and then he dropped the line that literally broke the internet in half. He said, and I am paraphrasing here because I cannot repeat the exact language on this platform, he told Papoose to ask his old lady if she is messing with Maserati Bud, because he has the Ring camera videos to prove it. Y'all, the internet exploded. People were screenshotting, sharing, reposting, theorizing, going live, making reaction videos. It was everywhere within minutes. Now, remember the context here, because this piece is absolutely crucial. Christmas 2024, Papoose was with Remy Ma and their daughter. Claressa Shields was supposedly home alone, and the internet dragged her for that. People were saying she got left behind, that Papoose chose his ex-wife over his new girlfriend. But now, allegedly, she was not so alone after all. And that is when this entire situation went from a hip-hop beef to something much, much bigger. So here is where Maserati Bud enters the picture, and y'all, I need you to pay close attention to what this man said, because he did not hold back a single thing. He gets on camera and he starts talking with a level of confidence that is either the confidence of a man who is telling the truth and knows he has the evidence to back it up, or the confidence of a man who has absolutely nothing left to lose and has decided to burn everything down on his way out. He says he has been sparing Claressa Shields for 2 whole years. 2 years of staying quiet, keeping his mouth shut, not saying a word to anybody, letting her live her life without interference. But then she decided to play with a real one, and that grace period was officially over. He says on Christmas Day, he was inside her house. Not outside in the driveway. Not down the street. Inside the house, sitting in the living room, in the exact same chair that he claims he personally helped her pick out as a housewarming gift for herself. And while he was sitting right there in that chair, Claressa Shields was on FaceTime with Papoose. He says he has the video of this exact moment. He says he was right there when she was calling her man, telling him whatever she was telling him, and Maserati Bud was sitting in the background the entire time, literally watching the call happen. But it does not stop there. Maserati Bud did not just stop at the living room. He starts describing the entire house with a level of detail that is almost uncomfortable to listen to. He says he picked out the furniture. He picked out the bed, specifically the one with the TV that comes out of it. He described the pool in the backyard. He described the overall layout of the home. Y'all, a man should not be able to give you a guided architectural tour of another woman's bedroom. That is a receipt that nobody wants read out loud in front of the whole internet. If this is all completely fabricated, how does he know what her bed looks like? How does he know about the pool? How does he know about the specific furniture pieces? How does he know about the TV that comes out of the bed? These are the questions that the internet started asking immediately after his video dropped, and nobody on Claressa Shields' side had answers for any of them. Now, I want to be very clear here, because we always keep it real on this channel, everything Maserati Bud is claiming is alleged. Now, here is where this story takes a turn that absolutely nobody saw coming. Claressa Shields, in an attempt to clear her name and prove her innocence, did something that might go down as the single worst decision she has made in this entire saga. She recorded a phone call with Maserati Bud without his knowledge or consent. She posted it online so that everybody could hear him saying that nothing physical ever happened between them. That was supposed to be her moment of vindication. That was supposed to be the receipt that shut everybody up and proved her side of the story once and for all. Y'all, it backfired in the most spectacular, most devastating way possible. Because Maserati Bud found out that she recorded him without his permission, and he completely, utterly lost it. He went on a tirade. He said, "Since you want to record phone calls, I am releasing all the footage. The studio footage, the behind-the-scenes clips, the Christmas video, everything I have been holding back for 2 years, it is all coming out." He even threatened to take legal action against her in the state of Georgia for recording him without his consent, which is actually a legitimate legal issue depending on the jurisdiction. She picked up a shovel to defend herself and ended up digging the hole 10 times deeper than it was before. The recording that was meant to prove her innocence became the exact catalyst that pushed Maserati Bud to blow the entire situation wide open. It is like watching somebody try to put out a fire with gasoline. And y'all, the timing of all of this is what makes it truly, undeniably filthy. Maserati Bud says this whole situation with Claressa Shields started in December 2024. Now, I need you to think about what else happened in December 2024, because this is where the puzzle pieces start locking together. That is the exact same month Remy Ma went on Instagram and exposed Papoose and Claressa Shields for creeping around behind her back. Remy leaked alleged text messages between the two of them. She posted screenshots. She went live and aired out every piece of dirty laundry she had. She was furious, she was hurt, and she made sure the whole world knew what was going on. And at the time, Claressa Shields was pointing fingers directly at Remy Ma. She was saying Remy was the one who had 2 men. She was saying Remy was the liar. She was saying the text messages were fake. She was saying Remy was just a bitter, jealous ex-wife who could not accept that her marriage was over. But if Maserati Bud is telling the truth, Claressa Shields was allegedly doing the exact same thing she was accusing Remy Ma of doing, at the exact same time she was making those accusations. She pointed 1 finger at Remy Ma and 3 pointed right back at her. That is not just infidelity. That is psychological projection at a level that would make a licensed therapist's head spin. If this is true, Claressa Shields was not a victim who got caught in the crossfire of other people's drama. She was allegedly directing the entire production from behind the curtain while playing the innocent, wronged woman on the public stage. And that level of double-dealing is exactly what has the internet in an absolute frenzy right now. Now, Brace yourselves, because this next part is the one that stings the most out of everything we have covered so far. Maserati Bud revealed why Claressa Shields allegedly kept him hidden, and it is not what anybody was expecting to hear. It was not about being shy or private. It was not about protecting her brand or her career or her public image. According to him, the real reason she was upset, the real source of her anger, was because he refused to commit to her exclusively. He told her flat out that he dates multiple women. He said he is polyamorous, that everybody who knows him personally knows he has 2 or 3 girlfriends at any given time, and that his lifestyle only works if the women he is involved with are comfortable being one of many rather than the one and only. And Claressa Shields, allegedly, was not comfortable with that arrangement at all. Maserati Bud says that is what she is truly mad about underneath all of this. He says she wanted him to give up his other women for her, and he was not willing to do that. He claims she told him she might as well go back to Papoose because at least Papoose only has 1 wife, while Maserati Bud had 3 girlfriends. Soak on that for a second, because the implications of that statement are staggering. 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Undisputed champion across multiple weight classes. The self-proclaimed GWOAT, the greatest woman of all time in the sport of boxing. And in this particular arena, the arena of romance and commitment, allegedly, she could not even lock down a man who was supposed to be a side piece. She was not his woman. She was not his one. She was option number 3 on a roster, and she still stayed in that ring, still fought for a spot that was never going to be hers. The champion of the world in boxing got hit by every single person in this drama and did not bring a single win home. That, y'all, is the most humbling, most public fall from grace I have witnessed in this entire calendar year, and we have seen a lot of mess this year. Now, let me slow all the way down for a minute because I need y'all to step back and see the full picture here. Not just the individual pieces, but the entire puzzle laid out on the table. Because here is the thing, on their own, each of these elements is just a rumor or a claim or an allegation. You could dismiss any single one of them in isolation. But when you line them all up together, they tell one very specific, very disturbing story that is extremely hard to ignore. Let me walk you through it. Number 1. Christmas 2024. Papoose is with Remy Ma and their daughter. Claressa Shields is supposedly home alone. That is established, documented, publicly known. Number 2. Maserati Bud says he was inside her house on that exact Christmas day while she was on FaceTime with Papoose. That is his claim, unverified but highly specific. Number 3. Remy Ma exposed the text messages between Papoose and Claressa Shields in December 2024. That is documented, public, undeniable. And Maserati Bud says December 2024 is the exact same month his situation with Claressa Shields started. Number 4. 50 Cent says he has ring camera footage of Claressa Shields at Maserati Bud's home. He has not released it yet, but he has been right about everything else so far in this feud. Number 5. And this is the one that really, truly gets me, y'all. A woman named Geisha305 posted a photo of Claressa Shields and Maserati Bud together back in February 2025. Not a rumor, not a claim, an actual photograph. And Claressa Shields immediately hit Geisha305 with a cease and desist letter demanding she take it down. Not a denial, not an explanation, a legal threat to suppress the image. Y'all, line those 5 dots up and look at what they form. That is not 5 random rumors floating around the internet from 5 random people who have nothing to do with each other. That is 5 pieces of the exact same puzzle, from 5 different sources who do not even know each other, all converging on the same conclusion at different points in time over a span of months. Now, in the spirit of keeping it completely fair, because that is what we do on this channel, I have to acknowledge the other side of this coin. None of this has been proven in a court of law. None of it has been verified by independent evidence that has been released to the public. Killing a leak is not the same thing as being guilty. Sending a cease and desist is not an admission of wrongdoing. There is a very real world where Claressa Shields is protecting herself from a complete and total fabrication, where Maserati Bud is making every bit of this up out of spite and jealousy, where 50 Cent is just stirring the pot for his own entertainment because that is what he does, and where the legal action against Geisha 305 was simply a woman protecting her reputation from false and damaging associations. That world exists, and we have to hold space for that possibility. But y'all, when the same picture keeps painting itself from 5 different brushes, from 5 different sources, at 5 different points in time, with details that consistently corroborate each other, that gets harder and harder to unsee with every passing day. And that is exactly the position the entire internet finds itself in right now. Everybody is looking at this growing mountain of circumstantial evidence and trying to figure out where the truth actually lies, and nobody seems to have a definitive answer. So through all of this, through all the allegations, through all the footage claims, through all the legal threats and counter-threats, through all the back and forth and the internet chaos, I have one very simple question that I cannot stop thinking about. Where is Papoose? Where is the man who was just weeks ago going hard at 50 Cent on every platform he could find? Where is the man who was dropping diss tracks, doing interviews, posting bold captions, being loud and aggressive and completely unafraid? He has vanished. He is dead silent. And y'all, silence at a moment like this does not just speak. It screams at a volume that words never could. The insider word, the chatter coming from people who claim to be connected to the situation, is that when Papoose finally confronted Claressa Shields about all of these allegations, she came clean, but only halfway. She allegedly admitted to what she characterized as an emotional affair. She swore up and down, on everything, that it never got physical, that nothing inappropriate happened beyond conversations and emotional connection. And Papoose, for whatever reason, apparently accepted that explanation. But here is the thing that makes this situation so much more complicated and so much more tragic than a simple cheating scandal. Remy Ma has been saying for months, publicly, repeatedly, on every platform she could get on, that no woman can truly respect Papoose because all he does is live off women. She said it on Instagram, she said it in interviews, she said it in lives, she said it every single chance she got. And at the time, everybody called her bitter. Everybody said she was just a jealous, scorned ex-wife who could not let go of a marriage that was already over. People mocked her. People dismissed her. People told her to move on and stop talking about her ex-husband's new relationship. But now, in light of everything that has come out, those words from Remy Ma land very, very differently. Because the word on the street is that Papoose is not going anywhere, and it is not because he is blindly in love. It is because he cannot afford to leave his meal ticket. Not for the second time. He already left Remy Ma, and now he is with Claressa Shields, and if these allegations are even partially true, he is caught between a rock and a hard place with no good options. Stay with a woman who allegedly humiliated him on a global stage, or walk away and lose the lifestyle, the access, and the financial security that comes with being the partner of the GWOAT. That is not a choice. That is a trap. And that brings us to what I consider the saddest part of this entire saga, the part that goes beyond the gossip and the memes and the internet jokes. Because what we are actually looking at here is not a love story that hit a rough patch. It is a business deal wearing a relationship's clothing. Two people stuck together, not because they cannot breathe without each other, but because each one needs something from the other that they cannot get elsewhere. One holds on for the image, for the public perception, for the brand of being half of a power couple, for the optics that keep the sponsorship deals and the media coverage flowing. The other holds on for the check, for the lifestyle, for the access to circles and opportunities that would not be available otherwise. And somewhere in the middle of all that calculation, somewhere between the diss tracks and the Ring camera claims and the legal threats and the polyamorous revelations and the Christmas Day FaceTime calls, the actual love got lost. It got buried under layers of strategy and self-preservation and image management. And that is the part that should make all of us pause for a moment, because this stopped being just celebrity gossip a long time ago. This is a window into how people build relationships on foundations that were never strong enough to hold the weight of public scrutiny, and what happens when those foundations crack. So let me recap this entire situation for y'all, piece by piece. 50 Cent lit the fuse with one Instagram post and a caption that changed everything. Maserati Bud poured gasoline on that fire by describing Claressa Shields' bedroom furniture on camera with a level of detail that made the whole internet uncomfortable. Claressa Shields' own attempt to defend herself by recording a private phone call backfired so badly that it turned into a potential lawsuit against her. The timeline of events suggests she was projecting her own alleged infidelity onto Remy Ma while accusing Remy of the exact same behavior. She was allegedly option number 3 on a roster for a man who refused to commit to her, and she stayed in that position rather than walking away. 5 separate pieces of evidence from 5 separate, unconnected sources all painted the same ugly picture over a span of months. Papoose went completely silent at the exact moment when he should have been the loudest, and his silence is speaking volumes. And Remy Ma sits back, watching all of this unfold, vindicated in a way that nobody saw coming, while the internet slowly realizes she might have been telling the truth from the very beginning. And here is why this story matters beyond just the drama and the entertainment value. When you spend all of your energy managing an image, polishing a public persona, making sure the world sees you in a very specific, very curated way, the truth always finds the crack. It does not matter how tightly you seal it. It does not matter how many cease and desist letters you send. It does not matter how many lawyers you hire or how many lawsuits you threaten to file. The truth finds the crack, and when it finally comes out, it is louder than anything you ever whispered to keep it hidden. That is the lesson sitting underneath all of this mess, underneath all the names and the allegations and the footage claims. And it is a lesson that applies far beyond Claressa Shields and Papoose and 50 Cent and Maserati Bud and Remy Ma. It applies to anybody who has ever tried to maintain a version of themselves in public that does not match who they are in private. Because eventually, the gap between those two versions becomes unsustainable, and the collapse is always spectacular. Now, I want to hear from y'all, because this conversation is way too big for me to just sit here and talk about by myself. I need your voices in this. Do you believe Maserati Bud? Is this man telling the truth with his detailed descriptions and his unwavering confidence and his claims about the Christmas Day footage and the furniture and the pool? Or is this just a scorned man with a grudge and an agenda, somebody who has no actual hard evidence and is making all of this up to drag somebody down with him? Are you on team she got exposed, or are you on team innocent until that Ring camera footage actually drops for the public to see? And real talk, y'all, the question that might be the most important one of all. Is Papoose staying in this relationship because he genuinely, deeply loves Claressa Shields and believes her side of the story? Or is he staying because she is the meal ticket and he simply cannot afford to walk away from another relationship with nothing to show for it? Drop your verdict in the comments below because I need to know where y'all stand on every single piece of this. And if you believe Remy Ma was right all along, I need to hear that too, because I am seeing a lot of people revisiting her old posts with very different eyes these days. And before y'all go anywhere, I need to talk about what happens next, because this story is far, far from over. In fact, I would argue it is just getting started. 50 Cent has not dropped the Ring camera footage yet. He is holding it. Maserati Bud has not released the studio clips or the behind-the-scenes footage he claims to have. He is holding those too. Claressa Shields has not actually filed her lawsuit against 50 Cent yet. She is holding that card. Papoose has not said a single public word about any of this. He is holding his silence. Remy Ma has not done a full, formal victory lap, though she has been liking posts and dropping subtle reactions that tell you exactly how she feels. What that means is every single person in this saga is holding cards close to their chest, and nobody has shown their full hand yet. The moment one of them plays their biggest card, this entire situation shifts again, and it could shift in any direction. So if you think this is wild right now, if you think this is the peak of the drama, just wait. Because the other shoe has not even dropped yet, and when it does, I will be right here, on this channel, breaking it all down for y'all piece by piece. So if you made it all the way to the end of this video, you already know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and share this video with somebody who needs to hear all of this, because I guarantee you they are going to have an opinion. Because this tea is way too hot to drink alone, and I promise you, the next update in this saga is going to be even crazier than what we just covered today. Stay tuned, stay informed, and I will see y'all in the next one.